Discord, and then we'll do Facebook Live. And then if you would like to, you can send me a friend request. Are you on Facebook?
Yes.
Okay. And then what I can do, I can tag you, I think, in the description.
Okay.
Or maybe in the comments if it doesn't let me. So okay. And I'm sorry, do we call you is your title like a death doula or was it death priestess or what do you call yourself?
Well, I'm a death and grief doula. Like Death Priestess is my business name.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. So if I was to put it in the description for Facebook, what would you like me to put in there?
Um, you can say Death Priestess.
Okay.
Yeah. I have a Death Priestess account on Facebook.
Oh, okay. Perfect. Okay.
I just never go. I'm not a Facebook person at all.
For me, Jen, you can just put frequent reader or
Conspiracy theorist,
I was thinking constant walker.
alien lover, UFO. You.
You fucker. Mom's gonna listen to this.
Yeah. Oh, am I grounded? Okay. So here we are. We are live. So, hey everybody, welcome to this episode of So Much Genergy. It's me, Jenny McKinney, and I am here with Jeff Jones.
Jen, thanks for having me.
Whoa, you got some mood lighting.
It's this blind in front of me. Look it. I try to turn it and it's just putting lines on my face.
Yes. Those are your age lines.
Yes.
Like you're trying to stay young, but you have all these age. You got some sun lines on your face, sir.
I don't know. I know. So I turned it down, but I still see them.
Yeah, that's okay. We understand. It's fine. You just had a birthday. You're old. You're geriatric now.
That's not even that old. I did have a guy at work this week, though. I'd worked with this new apprentice who I haven't worked with. He got his first day was my first day back to work, and we got stuck together working. And at the end of the day, his regular foreman was like, "Hey, how old do you think that guy is?" Guess how old he guessed I was?
What?
33.
33. It's because your
33.
boots. It was because your boots, wasn't it?
I even told him, I go, technically, I'm 46. I go, but, and he was like, how old do you think he is? I guess the guy at 27. He was 22.
Oh, I don't play that game. I don't play that game. I'll tell
I
you
do.
why
We
in a
play
minute.
that a lot at work. We do that a lot at
Ooh.
work.
Like when you're going to 27, I feel like that's okay.
Yeah.
You know?
It is.
So we are so excited no matter what age you are or think you are or what you look like or what you feel like. Because this week we have our friend here, KristySue, and she is a death priestess and she's going to tell us all about herself, and we have lots of fun questions, and you can put whatever questions you have in the Facebook live feed and we will get to those. So yeah, welcome KristySue. Great to have you.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me, honestly. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? What do you do? How do you do it? What's going on with it?
all right. So, Death Priestess. So, I'm a death and grief doula. And I'm sure you've heard of a birth doula, but it's kind of like that same concept as a non-medical support person for people that are, dying, actively dying, or thereafter. Or even so, I feel like for death doula, there's a huge spectrum that really falls under that umbrella, because there's kind of like this pre-planning that you can be doing, right? Preparing
Yes.
for death. And there's also, I feel like death contemplation, which is something which can go into preparing for death, is like the death contemplation. But I feel like that's even more kind of its own little niche over here. And then there's also like the spiritual aspect of it, and like the comfort care. And then there's, what are we going to do with the body, disposing of the body? So there's just like all these different umbrellas.
Okay.
The death doula. So it, depending on who you talk to, you're going to get a different definition because so many different death doulas do so many different things.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Right. Some
Yeah.
people are more spiritual. Some people are going to be like, I just want to do home funerals. I want to specialize in that. Other people are just going to be like, I just want to prepare or do all the like legwork for you.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
kind of a huge thing. And I think that's kind of like, I think people don't realize that there's so much kind of involved in your death.
Yeah.
Right. There's like so much planning. We plan so much for like weddings and birthdays and celebrations, but we don't really plan for our death that much.
Mm-hmm.
No, and then it is crazy too that the people that after your death, if you don't have like things really written out, that like the people that are making the decisions aren't in the best state usually
No.
to be making those decisions. And all that stuff, like you said, happens usually within a few days.
Yeah.
Right.
So like the grief is just it's kind of sucks because it does get prolonged.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the same time, it is hitting you and you got to decide all this stuff.
Yeah. And if you've never talked about it, right?
Right.
I have no idea what their wishes are.
Right.
It's just so much pressure. And not only pressure, then there's like, families making decisions together doesn't really always come out. Right.
Right.
So I think it's just like, I'm kind of here to promote even just the topic itself, because I do run like death cafes for people. And that's just to come to talk about, I have no agenda. There's no format to it. It's just open discussion. So it's even like, if you wanted to come in and practice talking to me, like I'm a parent or a grandparent, because you don't know what to say, then it's like, that's what you can do. You can come talk to me about it and see, and talk to a group about it and just get like different ideas of how to approach people, or even just having the conversation itself is helpful and makes it like a little less scary to talk about. Because I think that's what happened is, a lot of times we'll go to people and want to talk to them about it. And then we're like, no, don't talk about that. Don't talk about that. Like it's not going to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
And you called it a death cafe. Is that what you call it, or is that like a known thing? Or yeah,
So,
can you expand on that?
is something that started, I can't remember where it started, but it is like this. So it's literally just like a non-event. The only things that you have to have, I think, is there has to be drinks available and like something to eat. So we do go to our coffee house.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I have done different things. That's like a whole set like movement kind of thing where they have death cafes all over the place. And then I used to do like death talks, which are the same thing, but just not under that name.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love that, because it almost feels like a sacred space, of like a safe space to have those awkward and uncomfortable conversations, and then you can also kind of provoke them and give them some different questions or different talking points too, which seems very helpful.
Yeah, it's really been a great experience. And just so many different topics come up. I mean, once you start talking about death, so many different topics come up, because then there's also like the idea of like your identity death, right?
Right.
Even college people that are like graduating, right? And it's like, they don't know who they are in the world, right?
Yeah.
Kind of this like your identity is fading away, because you're also detaching from like the family and becoming this like adult person in the world, right?
Yeah.
So there's concepts that kind of go through the death doula sphere, I guess.
I love that. I'm just thinking about too, when I had like empty nest, when our daughter went to college, thinking like, who am I now, like as a person, because now I'm not Madeline's mom anymore in this realm.
Yeah. Certain way. It's
Yeah.
It's like I feel like anytime there's like a rite of passage, right?
Yeah.
Or like major life change, I feel like those are also like energetic deaths, right? Like a part of us is just like evolving in different ways. And I feel like, we get so caught up in like our identities, right? So anytime your identity changes, like even a divorce, right? Or switching jobs or roles in your job, right? So there's just so many instances where there is a death, but we just don't like recognize it. And I feel like that's like part of, that's a whole other large issue, because then we're dealing with so much grief. that is
Yeah.
acknowledged and validated, right? Or processed.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's this huge thing that's kind of happening.
Yeah, that's amazing. I I always told Josh, my husband, when I bite it, that's how I describe it, that I would like to be put in a firework and then just shot off because my
Oh no.
birthday's on on July 4th.
I don't want to be underneath that firework.
I know. I know. But
Told
I
my
said, but
wife
it
I'm
has
gonna
to
have
be like
mine.
one of those loud laughing ones, or like the
Yeah.
chicken that like makes a lot of noise, just at like one last minute. But have you had any kind of like fun or crazy, I guess it would be considered like a crazy request, or do you just feel like any request is really just individualized?
I think it's all individualized. I kind of prefer the crazy request because I feel like then, we're, I think we are all also kind of moving into this direction of celebrating life, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like there's more and more people that are stepping away from their traditional funerals that we're having
Yeah.
and realizing
Yeah.
that you can personalize it now,
Hmm.
So you can have it outside of a funeral home, right? You can have it really, I mean, as long as people allow you, you can have it wherever you want. You can have it in your home. So there's just so many like ideas and beliefs that we have around how it's supposed to be that I think are fading away because there's so many death doulas that are speaking up more about like what our options are.
I love that too. I love that you're sharing that because I think sometimes people feel very limited in the
Mhm.
let me just do what everybody else is doing, and these are the things like, oh, now I have to call the funeral home and get them over there and do all these things, where when you think even gosh, probably 50 or 100 years ago, all funerals seem to be in their homes.
Yeah. So there are certain rules that you do have to follow,
Yeah.
right? And it changes with each city. So you have to know like what
Okay.
what the laws are,
Hmm.
right? But you can have funerals basically anywhere.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah. I mean, if the body, because even at home, if somebody dies of like natural causes, and it's coming, you don't necessarily have to call the police right away. You have some leeway,
Mm, gotcha.
you know, and they don't have to come right away. So it's like you can have private time
Yes.
with the body,
Gotcha.
right?
Yeah.
And
How much private time can you have
yeah,
before it's considered
it's like
suspect?
I think it's like 12 to 24, but then like they need to like come in, pronounce them dead, right? But then you can still do like a funeral. So you could have like a funeral. I forget how many days it is because it switches. So depending on what state you're in.
I got a quick question. This is more about like a ritual part of, I
Yeah.
think, if it's even death doula. I'd mentioned to a guy that we were going to be interviewing a death doula, and he says he believes that a death doula had come in after his mom, who had just recently passed, like within 2 or 3 months ago,
Uh-huh.
and that she had wrapped the mom. Is that something? He's like, I'm pretty sure it was a death doula that came in and wrapped my mom
Yeah.
after she had passed.
Yeah. Most likely. Yeah. So
Okay.
another thing that you can do, so you can cleanse the body, anointing it, right? A lot of times, death doulas can come in and wrap the body. And that's like, good for a home funeral. Or also if they're doing like a green burial and they're not doing a casket, then they get wrapped in a shroud, right?
I believe that's what this was.
Yeah. So they can get wrapped in a shroud. And then the family can decorate it however they want to, placing flowers around them.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So they do turn it into, I will say, like ritual. Um, is something I'm strong into. I love a ritual. I love ritualizing a lot of things that we do just on a daily basis. I think bringing like intention into a space um, creates more of that. I think it just creates more volume for healing, right? Once you're setting an intention. If you're just going through the motions, I don't feel like there's that connection to mind body. in spirit. But then when you set the intention of like, oh, we're going to do this to honor her and, to do all these things, then I think that's when like the healing happens inside a ritual and like the grounding happens for people.
All right. I believe she was involved with the ritual that was taking place after her it was foreseen. I think it was an illness.
Yeah. Yeah.
I believe he did say something like, I go, what was because I even asked him, I go, what was the purpose of the wraps though? And he's like, well, it was part of something that she had already set up with the lady or the person.
Yeah. So that's nice that she had that, right? That she knew what she wanted. Cause I feel like a lot of people don't even really know like what they want.
He couldn't tell me what the purpose of them were. So whatever it wasn't even like,
oh, nobody even described. That's kind of sad.
He had no idea what the reasoning for it was.
Oh yeah.
Because I had asked him, I go, what's the reasoning for it? He's like, I don't know. It was something she had already had set up.
Yeah, usually the shroud is like in kind of a replacement, sometimes for a casket, or it's just another way to cover the body. Yeah, it's more
It feels. Oh,
like
I'm sorry.
wrapping them in a blanket almost. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like just kind of throw. I don't know. There's just something more like you're tending more to the body.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Giving yourself space to kind of be there with it, I think.
So, question about that. Do you, as a death doula, do you have like mediumistic or psychic or like intuitive abilities?
I would say I dabble.
Okay.
Personally.
Okay. And I'm asking because talking about like with the body and because now you're physically with that body. I was just wondering if like intuitively, if let's say if you knew ahead of time as part of the ritual, but can you feel the person? Oh, I just got chills all over.
Yeah.
Can you feel the spirit, that person's spirit or their soul, or do they ever communicate with you?
I personally, yes. I feel like I can feel the spirit definitely, even when I'm not present.
Yeah.
Right. I think sometimes even just kind of being around somebody who's mourning somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I can feel their energy.
Yeah.
I have had stronger senses with other people than, it kind of fluctuates. So it just kind of depends, I think, on who I'm with, who's grieving who, and what the whole situation is.
Okay. And
Yeah.
so kind of question like that is an amazing description and I love hearing about the like what you do to the body and it feels very sacred. So if we move back just one step before that, is there any have you let's say helped somebody cross over or have you been with them when they passed or has that been a situation you found yourself in?
I haven't been like actually in the room when somebody passed.
Okay.
But I've been in the process.
Okay, gotcha.
Right? Because I feel like dying can take, a long time.
Sure. Yeah.
Like, but when I haven't been in the actively dying.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. So, what was your process to become a death doula, or how did you find yourself getting interested or becoming
So,
this?
my ex-husband, a year after we got divorced, was diagnosed terminally ill. So I became his caretaker, and then he died 8 months later. So during that process and afterwards, there was this like, oh, like what is happening? There's nobody around. I don't know what to do.
Mm,
So it was kind of like seeing all the gaps that were there.
gotcha. Yeah.
And through that, then I was trying to find my own way after that. And then because I had a huge identity death myself, right? And just went through all these different, ideas of what's happening in life. And it quickly changed for me. So I was trying to find something that I wanted to do because I felt like it gave me like a second chance at life as well.
Yeah.
So I started to see things differently. And then through the process of trying to heal myself, I was like, oh, I want to like help other people try to find these things that are helping me too. So through that, actually, I had a therapist at the time, and I told her, I was like, I really want to help people do this thing. And she's like, oh, you want to be a death doula? And I was like, oh, what? Right.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what I wanted to be. Right.
Yeah.
I didn't even know it existed. So then I waited a while to actually go into, because there's a training that you go through.
Sure.
So I waited a while because I wanted to make sure that, it was something that I did want to do, and I wasn't just getting fascinated by it because I was in it. Right.
Right.
So eventually I did a death doula training actually in Ann Arbor in Michigan, in person. That was before the pandemic. And then, following that, I've done, I think, one other one, and then just a whole bunch of different modalities to use in the space, and got into grief really big. And also just the concept of afterlife. I love hearing about different traditions,
Mm.
that happen with other cultures.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I just kind of went for it, and then here I am.
Yeah, that's crazy. So if somebody was to contact you, like what is your process? Do they contact you like how far ahead, or is there like a certain
You know what?
time frame?
Honestly, because I feel like you could be, at 18,
Gotcha.
right?
Yeah.
And making preparations, right? Or just having an advanced care directive to make sure that, like, if something happens to you, right? Like, if you want to have somebody be your spokesperson, right? Or that you don't want to do this, right? So it's kind of like you have to go through these things of like what could happen.
Right.
Right. And it's almost like they say, every few years you should redo it. If there's ever like a death, redo it. If you get married, redo it. If there's a divorce, if you have kids, right? Just all these milestones where you should go back and check. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, everybody, any
Yeah.
could come to me. And then also I feel like it's not even just for the preparation, like the legal and paperwork, but it's just like getting your mind, like, what's your relationship with death, right?
Right.
Because a lot of us don't really have one, you know?
Yeah. Or are severely scared, and
Yeah.
then what if it's something that you can help them overcome
Yes.
the fear of?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So it's kind of like getting into all of that, right? It's
Yeah.
super. And then just the grief of, I think so many people are carrying so much grief around,
Right.
just from so many things now.
Yeah.
That's just something where, I'll help anybody, even it's because I feel like all grief is like, it doesn't have to be the grief of just a death. It can be anything
Right.
that really just turn our life around. So
Oh gosh, even, I've had that too, where you have grief of like expectations of yourself.
totally.
Like I thought this was going to happen and it didn't.
Yep.
Or I tried this and it didn't work out. Or even friendships.
Yep.
That was really big last year. Or relationships,
Yep.
where if your marriage doesn't work out, or your friendship, and I think just with the friendship connection, sometimes it's just so deep and you've been friends for so long, or you had this soul connection, and then when you find out that, let's say somebody stabbed you in the back or
Yeah.
whatever, that's terrible too.
Yeah. There's so many just different levels of it. There's even
Yeah.
just like, there's like this ache of like, who you thought you were going to be kind of thing.
Yes.
There are things like you never got to do, like a version of yourself that never got to be like fulfilled.
Right.
There's just so many different things that I feel like we just don't even acknowledge.
Yeah.
And it literally breaks my heart sometimes when I hear people talking about it. And I'm just like, just please acknowledge like that for yourself.
Yes. I love this so much too. I think because I'm like, my mind is so blown, like not even realizing, because you just think death doula of like your life ending, right?
Mhm.
Like just the end of life. But really, it's the end of anything.
Right.
Yeah.
The ending and the beginning,
Yes.
So it's like all these like new begin. I feel like it's just like this whole, I see it kind of like as, the cycle of life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So there's like death, grief, and like a rebirth.
Yes.
Right. So I just see like we're constantly in this evolution.
Yes.
Right? And I feel like, so we're in this constant change, even if you don't realize it, especially with the world that, we are in now. It's like so many things are ending really quickly and so many new things are popping up and da da da. So it's like,
Right.
constantly just evolving and kind of catching up to like what the world is doing now.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I just have like a whole slew of questions. They're not in any sort of order. So my mediumship friends, I love them, my little mediumship soul sisters. I'm in a little group, and so Tabitha, she's live on here, and Chrissy, they shared some questions. So I'm just gonna read those how they put those, okay?
Okay.
Have you had any experiences growing up that people crossed over in your presence?
No.
Okay, gotcha. Oh, and the other question was, do you have psychic, medium, mystic abilities? And do you want to kind of expand on that, like how you're dabbling?
Well, so funny because I feel like it was we talked about this, which is interesting. So I feel like right after he died, right, all it was just like boom,
Just
right,
you're
totally open.
opened up. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So it was just like kind of being flooded with things,
gotcha.
right?
Yeah.
Was not used to,
Mm. Did you
right?
find it? What emotion? I guess what emotion would you put with that? Because I don't want to say was that scary because I don't want it to put that on.
I don't think no, actually at the time it wasn't scary because I could really feel my ex-husband, his presence, like
Yeah,
very, and that was actually very soothing to me.
gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that was actually helpful for me in my grief
Yeah.
because then I was able to like form this relation because I always see like the grief is like actually just rebuilding your relationship with whatever the loss is,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I was able to like rebuild my relationship with him,
Yeah.
right? Just in a whole different way that I didn't know I was able to do.
Yeah.
So that kind of just gave me which I mean there was complexities in there of course because then it was like oh I had like the him that's over here and
Sure.
like the physical him,
Yeah.
right? That I still had to kind of close out my relationship with him,
Yeah.
right? So there was like kind of like these two different people that I was
Yeah.
dealing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was like this huge influx. Yeah, I mean, I would just go into meditations and just have not even him, there was just other things that were happening, different spirits coming through or just visions. So, yeah, it was getting pretty deep. Dreams were getting very vivid,
Mm.
like communication. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. So some other questions are, uh, do you like the moniker of Death Doula? So like do you like that name or would you call it I know that you have your business called Death Priestess. So is that why you kind of went with that? Did you feel like that was a better fit or
I do feel like it's a better fit for myself.
yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. I do kind of always change around the name a lot.
Yeah.
I I have like different I feel like I have like different like little names that I play with because I'll
Yeah.
rebirth witch, right?
I
Uh,
love that.
and sometimes I'll play with like I have another one that's swamp mistress, right?
Yes.
You say
I love
swamp
that.
mistress?
Yeah, swamp
Oh
mistress.
my gosh, I'm part of a witchy mastermind and like I freaking love that. We laugh so hard about just different names and coming up with like funny titles and like
Yeah.
different things that come to us. I love that.
My most taboo is I call sometimes it's a grieving slut.
I love it. I love that because I feel like if you did that, you should make like the SLUT like make something like a synonym or acronym out of
Acronym.
that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That'd be so funny. Oh
Yeah.
man.
So I
Yes.
play with the name. I never stick with names for very long. I'm constantly changing them. So
Yeah. I love that too because I feel like as you shift and change, that
yeah,
kind of is like how you're like that would make sense that your title would kind of shift and change at the same time.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. So Sherry's asking live, what is your favorite thing about being a death priestess?
My favorite thing, you know what? I really love one thing that I've always loved doing is death meditations.
Oh, What does
Yeah.
that mean?
So it's literally like just I guide you through like an energetic death.
Oh my gosh, that sounds magical.
Yeah. So then,
Oh,
and a lot of people sound like might like feel like, oh no, that's too scary or things like that, right? For some people, it might, if you have like severe, fear of death, or if somebody, had just passed away, right?
sure,
Then it might not
sure,
be.
right.
But otherwise, I feel like it's very grounding
Yeah,
and very like life affirming. And
yes.
I feel like there's like this tunnel vision, right? Where it's kind of like you zone in on like what's really important in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I really love doing those. That's one of the things that I've never changed. Like I've done it since the very beginning, and that's always stayed with me.
Yeah.
So I really enjoy doing those.
Is that like a personal thing? Do you do it just one-on-one, or can you do that in a group?
I do groups. I do one.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I love that. I'm just thinking like, do you do that online too?
Online.
Oh, yeah. I was just thinking like, oh my gosh, that would be so amazing for like a mediumship group or like witchy mastermind group to do that like all together. And then just the energy of the
Yeah.
whole group and the intensity and oh
And then
my gosh.
conversations afterwards of like just
Mm,
being getting like I like who experienced what,
yes.
like what triggered somebody, what didn't, like what did you see, was somebody there with you? Just
Yeah.
things that can happen. And I different like each time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do it. I do have one friend who's done multiples with me, and she's like, every time I just want to
Yes.
move to New Mexico, right? And
Yeah.
it's so funny. So it's like, it's like either the same things are going to come up, like, but there's going to be like hints, right? Of just like
Yeah.
the things. So
Right.
those are the things that I absolutely love doing.
Yeah.
Like just to get, but I think what I love about it, it's like you're getting people closer to their life. So,
Yes.
right. It's like getting in touch with like what their core desires are out of life.
Yeah. And it seems like such a huge release, right? Like if somebody is so stuck and like stuck in their grief or stuck in their life or stuck in whatever, and you go through this energetic meditation of
Yes.
releasing that. Oh my God, I have chills all over. I love that. I love that. Okay, more questions, and then we have more live questions too. So, Chrissy is asking if you believe that life is continuous.
Like afterlife.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, I do believe in afterlife. That we are reincarnated somehow, shape, or form.
Yeah.
So I do believe that there is like a continuation.
Yeah. I love that. And our friend Marichu is asking if you have a website, and so I think you're going to give that in a little bit, right? Or
Yeah.
do you do trainings, or do you just only offer services?
Only offer services.
Okay, perfect.
But I can if somebody is interested, I can help them figure out the
Get
best.
some resources.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Mhm.
Okay, you have a question, Jeff Jones.
Yeah, I got a quick question.
All right.
Today at work when I was looking up Death Doula, because I was just curious to see like what's the description of it, and this was up under services. Why I'm bringing this up now.
Uh-huh.
And maybe you do this, maybe you don't. I don't know if they're all the same, but what's a spiritual will?
A
Oh,
spiritual will. I believe that's like
It had said something like they help with physical wills and spiritual will.
I think it's kind of just like a closing out, right? Almost of like spirit. So it might be some kind of I've never done one, honestly. And I don't know. I mean, I've heard of them. I haven't really looked into it. But I'm thinking what it sounds like is normally a will is just like what you want done kind of thing,
That's
right?
kind of what I was assuming with the
Oh,
spiritual side of it.
it might there could be an energetic closing out. I feel like that could be what it is where they have somebody come in and actually kind of go through the chakras,
oh, yeah.
right? Kind of go through and like clear each one for them and then kind of close out.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, I think
yeah.
that it actually might be. if I
Yeah.
remember.
So would that actually be like a document stating that that is something you'd want done afterwards?
I think you would have to document that you want it done. I think that you should document everything
Okay.
because yeah, I think if you want something done, right, I definitely feel like that you should document it. Yeah.
I feel like too, just to add on that, just my personal feeling because I don't know, but it almost seems like as you're sharing that, it would be almost like a sacredness of like I want this last thing done before, like as part of
Yeah.
my body, my spirit,
Yeah.
and I would think too, like if there's some sort of belief, if I could have this done before I get to this next step,
Right. Well,
and
there's always,
like a clearing
yeah,
is really how it feels. Yeah.
and so many different traditions. There's so many different traditions around the soul and the spirit, right? And like what happens to them at death, or the process is like right before death and right after death, right? So many instances where like there's just different rituals to either, different beliefs too of like when they actually pass over, right? So sometimes it's like it could be a year. I've heard like 88 days, there could be 3 days. So there's just all these different things that happen.
Yeah.
And they also have
Gotcha.
different containers, right? And I think it's one of the voodoo. They actually have three different containers because they have three different levels for the spirit and the soul. So it's just amazing to me, like how the traditions and like so much thought has been put into what happens to our soul and our spirit afterwards, right? And just all
Yeah.
the that's put into that.
Yeah. This is so amazing because I love just thinking like as a medium,
Right.
I love the thought of like a spirit coming in to communicate and saying, I had this done. And like, what an amazing, um, just confirmation of these are the things that were done. This is what we did with my body, or this is what I
Right.
had, in these steps, and it almost feels like like you're saying, more of like a connected experience at the end, because there's so many people that say like I didn't get to say goodbye, or it didn't feel right, or
Yeah.
when you go to a funeral home and they're like, if you're touching somebody's hand, like people are looking at you like that's weird, or
Yeah.
you know it just seems like it just feels really more sacred, and just like you're saying, just like that connection. And I really, man, I'm just so grateful for this whole conversation, because I feel like it just is such a lack of communication amongst families, friends, you know, and I think things have changed. It just in the past, well, probably since COVID, I feel like
Right.
people are talking about other things more, just having different conversations, telling their friends that they love them more, things like that. And so I
Yeah.
just really love this, that you can have an open communication on what do I want done with my body, what do I want done with my insides, my
Right.
spirit, like I just love that.
I do
There's so
think the
many
more you
layers.
talk about it openly, like you said, with friends and family and stuff, it definitely takes the stigma away from
Yeah.
it eventually, especially with some of the older generation people that don't like talking about that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To get them talking while they're alive about what they personally would want done.
Well,
Hmm.
and don't you feel too like it's almost kind of not fair if the family only talks to like one person about it?
Yeah.
Because then that one person's in charge, or is trying to share that person's thoughts, and if somebody disagrees,
Yeah.
then it just turns into a whole family hoopla. And
Yeah.
really, you're trying to honor that person's wishes. Where if we would just tell somebody, or put it in writing, or share it with the death doula, or
Yeah.
have something saying these are our wishes.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
think it's like making sure, because it doesn't always have to be like next of kin or even like a family member.
Right.
It can be like the best, like the person that that's going to actually stand up and advocate for you when
Right.
you have a voice. Those are the people that you actually want doing it, not the people that are going to get overly emotional and not know what to do. You know,
Yes.
Yeah.
like it might not be the person that you would actually think it would be, but
Right.
it's the person that is going to advocate. I think that's really important too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I feel like too it's just my personal opinion, and
Yeah.
this isn't taking away from like funeral homes or anything like that, but it almost feels like it takes the business side
Yeah.
out of the death.
Yeah.
Right.
But, we've kind of sold we've given death over, right? It's
Right.
in hospitals now. And then, the aftercare is funeral homes.
Yeah.
So, and it's like, so of course we have, of course we don't talk about it. Of course,
Right.
we're having all these like, just fear of death. And of course, we don't talk about grief because we stopped really like living with the dead.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and it's uncomfortable, and then it's weird, and then people are like, "Oh, don't be morbid."
Yeah.
That's an association too, where you're like, "Gross, don't be like that." I
Yeah.
can remember Jeff Jones. I don't know if you remember or not, but like when mom and dad took us to the funeral home, and they're picking things out, and like,
I
you
do
know,
remember that.
I was just crying the whole time because I'm like, I don't want to think about that, but of course,
Yeah.
I'm like 10.
Well, that, and I
It-
thought it was weird that dad kept pointing out how they're going to be buried by his parents and like they already owned the plot and like they like
yeah,
all of that. Like they were just openly talking about it. And I feel I was probably six,
6, 7,
seven.
yeah, yeah. That's
So
exactly.
interesting because a lot of, I mean, for me personally, I'm like, oh, they actually brought you. That's kind of cool, right?
Yeah,
Because it's like so many people like shield their children,
yeah.
right? From even like the thought.
Right.
Yeah,
Like,
no, our dad exposed us to all sorts of
yeah,
stuff.
like
Oh
I
yeah.
at funeral,
No. And
I
then
was
I'm super claustrophobic, so I was like, I do not want to see any of these caskets or think about any of this. Like, I can't breathe.
no, no,
I do remember thinking though, and I've thought of it even since then, is like, what if your taste changed? Like, yeah, you've
Yeah.
picked that casket out and you've bought it already, but like,
Right.
what it like I've even mentioned it when we got to talking about it with mom and dad, Andrea and I,
Yeah.
we were talking about how we both wanted to be cremated.
Yeah.
We
right,
started talking about that. Then all of a sudden, dad, you could see him looking over at mom, looking at her, and he's like, should we do that?
right,
Mom's like, no. And dad's like, what would we even do with our plots? Like, how would we even like clearly?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I think mom didn't want us to tell him. You could sell those.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you bought them in the '80s. I'm sure you got,
In the 80s, I know, right?
I'm sure you
Yeah.
got a rip and deal. Especially they were the ones next to his parents.
I know.
yeah,
Ain't nobody trying to be buried next to Avery.
Yeah, I know, right? Trying to keep up with the Joneses, all of them in that whole
All of them.
plot. Yeah. It's crazy. Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Are you okay with more questions?
oh, totally, yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay. No, not you, Jeff Jones. Okay. Oh yeah. So we have some comments on here too in on the Facebook Live, like how families made different decisions against the families'
Yep.
wishes, and I feel like too that's not good because then when your parent or somebody comes back, they should probably slap you in your sleep
Yeah, yeah.
or something. You know what I mean? Like you made a decision. That's just being selfish, right?
Right.
Yeah,
I think so, yeah.
yeah, yeah. That's terrible. I'm sorry for that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. This question is: are there signs that you've noticed over the years that are not necessarily clinical that a person is about to transition?
Well, I feel like there are definitely signs. I don't know. So there's,
Like
you know,
acceptance. Like, have you witnessed somebody like having acceptance? Is that what they mean?
I think, are they, I
Or
don't know,
maybe even like energetically, or maybe just a feeling, or how.
because like, I don't, because here's the thing on that question too, is because I feel like a lot of people don't even know what the signs are, right?
Yeah.
So there's the loss of appetite, right? So a lot
Okay.
of people will think like, oh, they're not feeding grandma, but actually grandma's not, her organs are shutting down.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Right. So there's things like that happens. There is, I do feel like a lot of times people go inward more, right?
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
they're more like closed in, eyes closed, they don't really,
Sure.
conversations. They're more inward. A lot of times if they are wake up or come to kind of thing, if they're in and out and they start talking about seeing other people, right, from the other side, like, oh, I saw, Jim that died 10 years ago.
Right.
Right. So if they start seeing other people, right. There's that, of course. And then, I mean, there's just, I think sometimes like the energy slows, or they're having to have like kind of this like delusion, right? That they're like still, like my ex kept on trying to get up and go to work, which is like horrible, right?
Yeah.
Like, and you think you have to get up and go to work, So it was just like he was caught up in that for a while. So I feel like there's just like there are different things, during the process. And of course, the breathing changes, there's things like that. So
right. Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. This is a great question. What kind of self-care practices or any rituals that you do before entering the energy of a transitioning person's home or after you leave?
For myself, I usually, I used to do like huge elaborate rituals for myself when I first started getting into them. Now I kind of do like, I just call them like spontaneous rituals.
Yeah.
Where I literally let myself do whatever it is I want. Right?
Gotcha.
Because I feel like sometimes with certain people I want, or certain visits, I need to go home and like dance, right? Or sometimes I just need to literally sit there for a second and quiet, right? And I'll settle.
Right.
I think it really depends on how the energy is moving around, right? And I hate myself in like, I hate to put my rituals kind of like in a box.
Yeah.
Able to just kind of experiment and kind of do like, I always say like, just do whatever like intuitively it's free. It's like if you're going to do a ritual and you want things in it, in the ritual with you, I usually just kind of grab whatever hits, Yeah.
So, I love that you shared that too, because if you just had like a ritual checklist, let's say, like you're saying, like in the box, you would miss out on something else that was so like extraordinary for that exact time.
Right. So I think it's a practice, right?
Yeah.
To know kind of yourself a little bit more and what you need, and like really bringing in like that awareness. So
yes, I love that.
I
love that. Okay. How do you keep your empathy and compassion for each individual after having traveled along with so many who are transitioning?
I feel like for myself, I feel like this space for me is very sacred.
Yeah.
Like I get very emotional, right? I don't back either. I also think I'm just like honored to be in the space the way that I am. Also, I kind of like when somebody else is having the feeling, I kind of like it does affect me, but I let it travel through me because it's theirs, not mine.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So I understand that kind of difference of letting it just kind of flow through.
Yeah.
So I understand what they're going through. Like I might feel their emotion, but I let that energy go. But I don't think I'll ever like dry out.
Yeah. Yeah, I got you. Yeah. Yeah, that's really funny. Okay. Do you ask for stories about who they were in life?
I love stories. I think storytelling is super important. I don't think we ask enough stories.
Yeah.
I think that I feel like I probably missed out on a few stories from my dad, and I would love to have them. Same husband. He told me his stories probably like 10,000 times, but I still I would be like, oh, tell me again.
Yeah.
Here,
Yeah.
So, I believe that storytelling is super duper important. I believe that asking questions are super duper important. So I definitely, when I talk to people, I'm constantly asking questions about them.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. From them, when possible. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Okay. That was part of the same question. Okay, how do you help, or do you help the families also begin the process of grief and self-care?
Yes, definitely. I feel like sometimes I'm more in the grief space than the death space. Um,
Okay.
I and I don't, it's so weird. I enjoy being in the death or grief space. I just feel like it's very important,
Yeah.
and it's a sacred space for them, and a massive adjustment for a lot of people sometimes. And
Mhm.
so I definitely care for families. Um, Really, I feel like it's a during, it's a before, and it's during, and then after as well. Because
Okay.
even in the process of somebody being sick, if they're a caretaker, the anticipatory grief, right? And just
Yeah.
the grief of being a caretaker, I mean, it's so overwhelming and so much stress. And usually they don't give enough to themselves because they're constantly giving and caring for somebody else, right?
Yes.
So they're just, completely not giving themselves enough. So I think
Right.
like having a death doula come in, I think especially if there is a caretaker, right? If there's just one person, I think it's important to have a death doula come in and help that person, however it is. If it's just, if they need somebody at the house. See, a lot of death doulas will help you kind of organize things, right?
Yes.
They might not necessarily come in the house, but they'll help you organize. So you have people coming in,
Right.
right? So that things don't get confusing and doing all that. Or they
Yes.
come in, right? And allow you to the freedom to like go do something else.
Yes.
So yeah, I
Yes.
agree.
And kind of keep you on track, just like you're saying, right? Because people forget to eat, and they forget
Yeah,
to
their
like,
pills, or when did they eat last? When did they go
right.
to the bathroom last? When did they get
Yeah.
around? There's so many different things that, we're watching. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's really
Yeah.
important.
Yeah. Okay, question from Tanya. She wants to know, let me get back here to her original question. Just one second. Okay. I'm curious, if you believe our souls are reincarnated, then how are we able to speak to our loved ones in spirit?
I think that I accept the fact that I don't know everything and that there's a huge mystery to this. And I feel like there's so many different layers to our souls and what we're capable of doing that we don't even use ourselves as much as we possibly could.
Mm,
Right.
yes.
So I'm kind of to the point where it's like, I don't know everything. I just have beliefs.
Yeah.
Right. I think that's really part of me building my relationship with death. And it's different than everybody else's because everybody else is going to have their own feelings about it.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I've given in to the unknown.
Yeah, I love that. I do want to share an example for Tanya's sake too, because she's one of my good friends. And so our cousin passed away, and I feel like she passed away before her time was
Mhm.
supposed to end. Um that's just my personal feeling, but also I keep having dreams, and I keep seeing her energetically, like in the spirit realm. She's very busy, and I keep seeing her like she is busy. And so I just wanted to share that, because if Tanya's asking about reincarnation, I don't think that I think because she didn't get to finish things here on earth,
Yeah.
she is finishing them in the spirit realm. And then if there's not that if there's time, but if there's something next, she's still busy here, and not going to the next step just yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I go through like kind of like different levels,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
And
sometimes,
and there's so many things that we've heard, just on the mediumship level and the spiritual level of, oh, there's like a review period, or
yeah,
there's
yeah,
you have to go here. I mean, I don't know. I haven't done
yeah,
it, so
yeah.
I can't say. Yeah.
Basically, right? It's like, oh, this is fun.
Yeah, yeah. And we can only share, plus just to share too, on the level of how can spirits communicate. I feel like we're all energy. Like
Yeah.
there's an all sense of energy. So it's energy coming back. And so when there's a spirit trying to communicate, that takes a lot of energy.
Mhm.
So sometimes they, and they're trying to communicate with you, and they don't have a mouth, they don't have a body, and yet they're trying to communicate with you. So it does take a lot of energy, and I feel like sometimes they're they're still trying to get used to, how do I do this?
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know? And me personally, I've seen, I've communicated with spirits that have, passed a week ago, and I've also spoken with spirits, and I say spoken because they talk to me, but that have passed, 2 generations ago. And so there's sometimes where, if they were quiet in life, they are quiet when they come in. Sometimes, because their personality will come in. And so it's the energy of them. And so I just think it's interesting because, what if they're reincarnated 10 times? What
Yeah.
personality are you going to get if they communicate with you?
Yeah. Yeah,
Which is
definitely.
pretty cool. So, yes, Jeff Jones, go ahead.
Yeah, I did have in my notes that if you brought this up again, here's a question, Jen. Is there something we can do in our daily life that would make us a better communicator once we become a spirit? Like,
Ooh.
what can I do now that when I pass on will help me become a better communicator to somebody
Ooh, I
after
feel
I
like it's
pass?
frequency based. Like, I feel like to be like it's vibrational, and if you are a low vibration, it's harder to communicate, right? And so if energy, if it's vibrational, it kind of like when your ears ring, right? Like, so
Right.
if a spirit comes in and is trying to talk to you and your ears are ringing, the vibration and the frequency is so high because that's how they communicate.
Gotcha.
And so I think just in the energetic realm, I feel like it's a higher vibration, and they have to lower their vibration to talk to us or communicate with us. So I think it's just being on a high vibration, but I think that's going to happen automatically. That's just
All
my
right.
personal opinion.
I agree.
Yeah, that was a really good question.
I had that in my notes for next time you bring
Yeah.
up ask
Well, I
communicator.
was going to say, hey, just get high, but you do that all the time, so
Kind of
like you're already
asshole.
high enough.
Who says
So
that? What's wrong with you?
you got to vibe high, and you're like, dude, I am. I already am. I
I'm
do that.
vibing as high as I can right
Right,
now.
right. Okay, I'm just gonna check these other questions, just make sure I didn't miss anything. Um, okay. Oh yeah. Oh, Yep. Tanya was saying that was a great question, Jeff Jones. So yeah. Okay. Awesome. Is there any other questions you have, Jeffy?
Nope, I don't believe so. I think we covered a
No.
lot.
Oh my gosh. I feel like I'm going to have like 500 questions after we leave.
I
So
know.
I would love to like keep it open just if you wanted
Oh,
to come back,
yeah.
and or if we could just do like a follow-up.
Yeah.
And I would absolutely love to schedule like a group death meditation. I
For
would
sure.
love that.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Those are
Because I
I-
feel like that would just be so beneficial to so many people. Plus, if it's online, they could do
yeah.
it, in their own home. I do a monthly like prayer and healing circle. So
Oh,
we do like a energy where we do an energy share and a prayer. Like if people do prayer or whatever they believe in, and we do it once a month. It's the first Sunday of every month, and what we do is we do like a 20-minute meditation for everybody in the group. So I put healing out to the group, and then we do 8 minute for the earth, like people of
yeah.
the earth or the earth itself. And then we end on a laughing meditation. So we laugh for 2 minutes, just to leave on a high frequency, for everyone to get back in their body and to
Yeah.
to feel themselves. So,
Love that.
yeah, it works out great. And plus, like, I'm here to share love and laughter with the world. So, yeah, so that's, and you're more than welcome to join us for that too. But yeah, I would definitely love to schedule something with you, and I'm sure that all my mediumship friends and family would love that too.
Totally.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah. And actually, I'm coming up to Michigan in November, so like I would love to get together.
yeah, definitely. We'll have coffee.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. If I drink coffee, I might spontaneously combust, but I'm water with
Right.
lemon or tea. Yeah.
I'll drink hers.
Jeff Jones usually has an IV bag attached anyway, so it's
I'm
fine.
bummed. I left my coffee out in the kitchen before, and then came in here. And as soon as we started recording, I thought, I don't have anything
You're
to
like,
drink
no
or
wonder you're
nothing.
all crabby. No,
I'm not crabby. What are you talking about?
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Awesome. Well, can you share where people can find you and the services that you offer and all that good stuff?
Yeah, so I'm mostly on Instagram, to be honest. So under death underscore priestess,
Okay.
my username. I also have a website, which is deathpriestess.org.
Okay.
And you can contact me on there. Let me see what else. I'm on Facebook. I'm not really on it a whole bunch,
Yeah.
but message me on there. I will check it.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I do a lot of death doula, and I'm more of like the spiritual side, or kind of connecting to self again
Yeah.
in the case. So I feel like there's, and just having conversations with people that they might not necessarily want to have with other people.
Yeah.
I do that for the death doula, and then I do a lot of grief work. And grief work is just surrounding everything, and also any kind of like transformational work that's happening in life. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love
And
that.
then local, then I do the Death Cafe, which is actually this Wednesday in Ferndale at Drifter Coffee House.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, so I will get all your links and
Yes.
I'll put them back in here in these notes and in the show notes.
Yeah.
And then so in the description, once this is posted, then all of that will be in there. And then I'll put a link to the coffee house too, so that if you're interested, you can have that information. And then keep an eye out. And then once we get together for a class, we can do that meditation.
For sure.
And that would be amazing.
Yeah.
I love that.
Also, like, let everybody, if they have any questions, they can contact me. Like, anybody listening anything that comes up, please contact me. I'm always so.
Yeah, I would love that. I mean, for them.
Yeah.
And I'll do it too if I have questions.
Did she give her website?
Yeah.
Okay, I think I was looking at my calendar.
Yeah. Yeah, you were looking at Wednesday. Are you busy on Wednesday?
Yeah, I am this Wednesday.
I know. Awesome. Well, everybody is like saying how much they appreciate all the information and all the comments, and they loved the work that you're doing, and excited to hear more information. So, everybody appreciates that, and we're just so excited and appreciate your time for being on here. So, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks. All right, Jeffy. Well, we were supposed to talk about movies this week, but hey, maybe next time.
No, stay tuned.
Yeah. TBD.
I watched one.
Oh, to be continued, not TBD.
Oh yeah, TBC.
Not the yogurt. Okay.
TCB.
All right. See you again next time, and thanks, KristySue.
Thanks, KristySue.
Yeah, thanks.
All right. I